Seattle area hustlers, welcome back to Investing with Seabass. I'm Sebastian with Century 21 North Homes Realty, and on this channel we break down real estate opportunities specifically tailored for first-time investors. Now if you're new here, you might be wondering, what exactly is house hacking? Okay, house hacking is a strategy where you live in one unit of a multifamily property, like a duplex or a triplex, while renting out the other units. This allows you to significantly reduce or even eliminate your monthly housing costs. Think of it as having tenants pay your mortgage. Now let's touch on the core concepts of real estate investing. At its heart, real estate investing is about generating income and building wealth through property ownership. This can be achieved through rental income, property appreciation, and tax benefits. It's about leveraging real estate to create long-term financial stability. Today, we're diving into a property in Duvall, Washington that has serious potential for both house hackers and investors. It's one that I think you'll find very interesting. Let's talk about Duvall. It's a charming, growing town nestled in the Snoqualmie Valley, known for its small town feel, strong community, and incredible proximity to nature. You get to enjoy the scenic beauty of the Snoqualmie River Valley, and it offers a peaceful escape from the hustle and bustle of Seattle while still being within a reasonable commute. The Snoqualmie Valley is experiencing steady growth, making it a promising area for long-term investment. We're seeing potential for future development and infrastructure improvements that will likely boost rental demand and property values. This growth, combined with the limited housing supply in the area, sets the stage for solid returns. Now let's get into specifics of this property. You can see the Redfin listing here. This property is currently listed at $1,100,000. Let's break down why it's still a great deal for first-time buyers. It has 4 units, each with 2 beds, 1 bath, with the potential for future renovations and amenity additions. One of the best things about this property is the large lot size, giving you many options for future improvements and expansion projects. Let's look at the numbers. Based on comparable properties in the area, we can estimate potential rental income of approximately $2,200 per unit. Now let's calculate the estimated monthly mortgage payments, including property taxes and insurance. This will likely be around $7,000 to $8,000 depending on insurance and included fees if you only go with 3.5% down, which is standard for an FHA loan. For those who don't know, an FHA loan is a great house hacking home loan as it allows for up to 4 unit properties that meet their living standards, that is the FHA's living standards, as long as you reside on the property for at least 1 year. Any house that you see me showcase in an investor analysis like this will always be pre-screened and approved for FHA loans. Alright, things are about to get a little technical and maybe a little boring, but let's talk about where we get the numbers we need to analyze a real estate deal and what they are. Most of the basic information comes from online listing websites like Redfin, Zillow, or your local MLS. For anything missing, we can use local averages or consult with real estate professionals. Let's break it down. Number of units. This is simply the total number of rentable units in the property. You can find this information directly on the property listing. Monthly rent per unit. This is the estimated or current rent being charged for each unit. Look for comparable renting listings in the area on Redfin, Zillow, or again, other rental websites to get a good estimate. If the property is currently rented, the listing may have that information. If not, comparable listings are your best bet. In our case, we have tenants. Vacancy rate. This is the percentage of time a unit is expected to be vacant. Local market data or property management companies can provide average vacancy rates for the area. If you do not have local data, a general rule of thumb is 5 to 10%, but always do your research. In this case, the history shows nearly no vacancies across several years of history. I've still included a low number to cover the time between tenants for repair and preparations, but it's pretty low. Property taxes. This is the annual tax levied on the property. You can find this information on the property listing or your local county assessor's website. Insurance. This is the annual cost of insuring the property. You can get quotes from insurance providers or use local averages. A good real estate agent can help you with those local averages, and we are going to keep this fairly low just for our analysis. Property management fees. If you're hiring a property manager, a great option, this is their fee, usually a percentage of the monthly rent. Local property management companies can provide this information for you. If you're self-managing, which in our case we're going to assume we are, this will be zero. Maintenance and repairs. This is the estimated cost of maintaining and repairing the property. A common rule of thumb is to budget about 10% of the annual rental income, but it can vary depending on the property's age and condition. Assuming we are in a fully repaired, up-to-date condition, we're going to do about $2,000, which is low, but will make the numbers work. Utilities. These are the costs of utilities like water, sewage, garbage, and electricity that you, as the landlord, might just be responsible for. The listing might specify which utilities are covered. If not, local utility companies can provide you with those average costs. Purchase price. This is the listed or negotiated price of the property. It's always listed on the property listing and, of course, can be negotiated. Down payment. This is the amount of cash you'll put down when purchasing this property. This depends on your loan type and lender requirements. Lenders typically require 20% down for investment properties, but there are some exceptions. Remember, this is an FHA loan we're analyzing. Interest rate. This is the interest rate on your mortgage loan. You'll need to get pre-approved by a lender to determine your interest rate. Rates fluctuate regularly, so check with multiple lenders. Loan terms. This is the length of your mortgage loan, typically 15 or 30 years. This will be determined by your lender. Now, to make this analysis easier, I've created a custom Excel spreadsheet. This spreadsheet automatically calculates all the outputs we discussed, like NOI, cash flow, and returns as soon as we put the data from Redfin, Zillow, or the MLS. This tool streamlines the process, allowing us to quickly analyze deals and make informed investment decisions. Moving forward, we now have our outputs. Gross potential income, or GPI, is simply the total amount of rent you could collect if all your units were occupied and every tenant paid on time. Think of it as the maximum possible income from your rental property before any vacancies or losses. Vacancy and credit loss, or V&C, accounts for the times when your property might be empty or when a tenant doesn't pay their rent. It's a realistic estimate of the money you'll lose due to these factors. This helps you get a more accurate picture of your actual income. Effective gross income, or EGI, is what you get after you subtract the vacancy and credit loss from your gross potential income. So it's your potential income minus the money you're expecting to lose from empty units or unpaid rent. This is a more realistic view of your rental income. Net operating income, or NOI, is your effective gross income minus your operating expenses. Operating expenses include things like property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and property management fees. NOI tells you how much profit your property is generating before you pay your mortgage or income taxes, any of the extras. The capitalization rate, or cap rate, is a way to estimate the potential return on your investment. It's calculated by dividing that net operating income by the property's purchase price. Basically, it helps you compare the profitability of different properties. A higher cap rate generally means a better return. Debt service is simply your mortgage payment. This includes both the principal and interest you pay each month to your lender. It's a major expense that affects your overall cash flow. Cash flow before taxes, or CFBT, is what you have left after you subtract your debt services or mortgage payment from your net operating income. This tells you how much money you're actually pocketing each month before you pay any income taxes. Now, the one everyone always likes to hear, cash on cash return, or COC. It measures the return on the actual cash you invested. It's calculated by dividing the annual cash flow before taxes by the total cash you put into the deal, like your down payment and closing costs. This helps you see how efficiently you invested cash and how it's working for you. The gross rent multiplier, or GRM, is a quick way to compare the value of similar rental properties. It's calculated by dividing the property's purchase price by its annual gross rental income. It gives you a rough idea of how many years it would take for the property to pay for itself in gross rent. A lower GRM is generally better. The debt service coverage ratio, or DSCR, is used by lenders to determine if a property can cover its own debt service. It's calculated by dividing the net operating income by the annual debt service. Lenders usually want a DSCR of 1.2 or higher. That just means that the property generates at least 20% more income than its mortgage payments. In this situation, our property is actually just a little lower than that 1.2, but again, negotiation is always on the table. For those of you that were able to bear with me and didn't just skip ahead, thank you so much, you did great. All right, now let's get back to it. When we do a basic cash flow analysis, potential rental income minus expenses, we can see that even if you only rent out a portion of this property, you could significantly reduce your monthly housing costs or even generate positive cash flow. This is the power of house hacking. For investors, this property has significant potential for long-term appreciation due to its prime location and the growing rental market in this area. And don't forget to consider the potential for future renovations or additions to increase property value even further. Here are a few things to keep in mind. First, screen potential tenants thoroughly. Second, set clear rental agreements. This protects both you and your tenants. Third, maintain the property diligently. Regular upkeep will keep your tenants happy and protect your investment. And finally, learn about basic landlord skills. There are many resources available online and in your community. For first-time investors, building a solid team is essential. That includes a knowledgeable real estate agent, a reliable lender, and a trusted contractor. Understand the local market. Knowing the trends in your area will help you make informed decisions. Focus on long-term growth. Real estate is a long game, so patience and strategy are key. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We're all here to learn and grow together. Remember, always do your due diligence and consult with professionals before making any investment decisions. This is about making smart, informed choices. If you are interested in this property or learning more about house hacking in the Seattle area, please reach out. You can find my contact information and social media links below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more real estate investment tips. The Seattle area is full of opportunity for savvy investors. This Duvall property is just one example of the potential that's out there. Thank you for watching and happy investing.